music and art and a makerspace activity, and we wanted to share it with all of you. In art, we learned about the Aborigines and how they used paint and special colors and symbols and painted on tree bark, and they painted their dreams and made them into stories, and then they would pass those stories down from family member to family member. And these are our Canterbury bark paintings up here on the board with all their symbols and colors and patterns.
The music in Australia was very different than Western civilization. They used didgeridoos, which were hollowed out tree trunks, and apparently we have Mr. McGorn with a beautiful one with all the symbols on it. These didgeridoos could be played to imitate animals in the forest. Another, yeah, I have something here on my backside. In music, we learned a song that probably you parents and grandparents learned, but it has a little bit of a twist to it. It is one of the native birds. It's the largest member of the kingfisher family, and the very last verse you will recognize. The first several verses are just for fun, but the last verse, if you went to school in Florida, you will recognize it.
Hi, I'm Erica Whiteman, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the didgeridoo process. We looked up how to make didgeridoos and went to Home Depot and got some PVC pipe. I took the pipe to the upper school maker space woodworking, and the upper school students there cut them to the size that we needed, and we brought them down and figured out how to apply the tape to make it look wooden. And there were some challenges that we had to get through to figure out how to do that in lots of rolled up tape, but we learned some good lessons and figured out that putting it lengthwise is the best way. And then we found out that Mr. McGorn plays the didgeridoo. So yeah, and I have family in Australia, and I brought the didgeridoo that I got from Australia, as well as the didgeridoo painting. So it's really neat just to see how art and music and makerspace and Mr. McGorn can all come together and make this happen. And the students, of course, they're the stars.
Give us a little example of how your didgeridoo sounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the help of Victoria's mom, where's Mrs. Little? Okay, yeah, she helped us write a story in second grade, helped us write a story using all of the symbols from their artwork. And on the back of all their artwork, they have symbols and stories. So we combined them all and we wrote a story for you. So they're going to act out each symbol in the story. Once upon a time, there was a woman, and she was on a mission, hunting for berries that grow in the bush tucker plant, to feed her hungry children. As she was searching for bush tucker berries that were very hard to find, she heard a noise. "What was that?" she said. Then out crawled a Wacheti grub, who spoke to the woman and said, "I will help you find the bush tucker berries to feed your hungry children if you put me in your Coolamin sack." And take me to the watering hole. "How will I know how to get there?" said the woman. "I will show you," said the Wacheti grub. So off they went to find food and water. They first followed kangaroo tracks through the outback until they came upon a sandhill. Sorry, I lost my sandhill. It was so good. All right. Came upon a sandhill filled with busy honey ants. The kangaroo tracks have disappeared. The honey ants have covered them up with sand from the sandhill. How do we know where to go? Cried the woman. And then the honey ants crawled out from the sandhill and said, follow the emu tracks until you hear the dingoes howling. And see the silky pear tree. Okay, said the woman, thinking this was a little crazy, but she knew her children were hungry. So off she went with the machete grub tucked safely in the cooling sack. She followed the emu tracks until she smelled the silky pear tree and heard the warning cries of the dingoes. Duck! Howled the dingoes, and out of nowhere, a boomerang whizzed towards their heads. Hit the dirt! They ducked in the nick of time, and then when they looked up, they saw the silky pear tree shining in the evening sun. We're almost there. Keep going, said the machete grub. As they approached the silky pear tree, rain began to fall and formed a beautiful river that led to the watering hole. The dingoes took branches from the silky pear tree and made them a boat so they could float down the river, and they thanked the dingoes and floated down the beautiful river until they came to the watering hole. As the sun was setting, the machete grub crawled out of the cooling sack and drank the special water. The stars came out and twinkled on the water, and the machete grub turned into a beautiful bush-covered garden, loaded with thousands of delicious berries. The woman gratefully filled her cooling sack of berries and took them home to her family, and they lived happily ever after.